Hi everyone! Really excited today to show you the brand new Beauty of Horror Tarot colouring book. So I don't know whether it was last year or the year before, Alan Robert brought out his set of tarot cards, and you could either buy the cards that you would colour yourself or you could buy the pre-coloured printed cards. So I did a video on these, which you might want to go back and have a look at, but each set came with a full colour guidebook which told you about each of the cards and their meanings, and then you had the actual cards themselves. Now the colourable ones are a larger format than the printed ones. So these are 3 that I've completed, and then the rest would sort of look like this, so they'd all be monochrome, ready for you to add your colour. Now when I reviewed these, I did mention that the cards had a kind of surface on them that sometimes rejected or repelled different medias that I was trying to use. I can't really describe it. It doesn't feel like it's glossy, but it just has a coating on it of some sort that was not really conducive to colouring with every kind of media. You had to sort of pick and choose and see what worked best. So that is why I was very excited to learn that these exact tarot illustrations would be coming out in a colouring book format with the same really good quality paper that we have come to know from previous Beauty of Horror books, because it meant that I would be able to have a bit of a better experience colouring these images than I did when I was colouring the cards. Not to say it can't be done, because you can see I have done it, but I think just that coating, it does make it slightly frustrating sometimes. So I'll just quickly show you the pre-coloured ones so you can see what I mean. And these are still available to buy. I'll leave links in the description. So there are some of the pre-printed cards. And I'll pop these away and we'll have a look at the book. So the book itself consists of every single card illustration from the whole of the deck. So it's not just, you know, the main major arcana cards or minor arcana, it's everything. And that means that this book is huge. It is really, really thick. I mean, let's see. It's not far off an inch thick. It's like a textbook. I was so shocked when I got it through the post at just how big and thick and heavy it was. I really wasn't expecting it, but it's fantastic. And again, great production quality from the publishers IDW. So you can see that we've got the red foiling that we usually find on a Beauty of Horror colouring book, and it has a French flap, so there's no annoying dust jackets to fall off, and it feels really good quality. So as usual, you have the title page to colour, and then we've got a bit of copyright info and then an introduction. So I did want to colour this start to finish in order. I don't want to just dip in and out of the book at different points colouring, you know, random illustrations. I want to start it from the top and go through. Now, you know, I say this with loads of books. I really want to finish this one. It's probably not going to happen, but I really would like to have it finished, and I can imagine the end product and just showing every single card fully coloured in my own style. But yeah, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, but I haven't been able to put this book down since I got it a few days ago. So very exciting. So we've got the introduction, and it just talks about the background of tarot cards, a little bit about how they came about, and it also weaves Juliana into that story as well, that maybe she was the one that came up with the idea and whispered it into the ears of those who made it famous. So yeah, you've got that fun introduction, and then we've got the first illustration, which is not part of the card. It's just it's like a category illustration, so it's telling you that we're starting off with the major arcana, which, if you don't know much about tarot, the deck is typically split into 2 main categories. You've got the major cards, which are like the trump cards, and the minor cards, which are like the number cards, so like the 6 of swords, things like that. Yeah, so every time we've gone to a new section, we're going to have this illustration just telling us that we're in a different section. Anyway, coloured this with Prismas. I chucked Posca paints at it. Acrylic paints on these cards here, because these were like little miniature versions of cards that are in the book, and I just wanted them to be a little bit more mysterious, just to say, like, you don't know what's inside, you don't know what Juliana's going to come up with for your tarot reading. Yeah, super fun. And obviously I got the paint out and I was whacking the paintbrush at it, getting a load of blood drips on there. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out, and I didn't even try or attempt to keep this page from being covered. I thought, do you know what, it's cool if it just sprinkles itself all over the place. And yeah, I don't know, I really like it anyway. And then we go into all of the cards. So I just want to point out that when you are looking through the book, you also get a description of each card on the back, on the rear, and I'll be showing you that as we go through. So you can see here on this side, because we haven't got a card in front of this, we have a little bit of an introduction about the structure of the card. So that's exactly what I've just told you, that there are different trumps and the extra suits and things like that that are in there: wands, cups, swords, pentacles. And it's just a little bit of a further intro about how tarot decks work. So I did start colouring this and then moved on. So I'm not sticking to what I've said already, am I? I wanted to colour it from start to finish and I've already moved on. But I'm not counting this because it's not a full page illustration, it's just a little bit of a one. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So this is the first one, obviously, that I completed. It's called The Fool, and it is the first card of the natural order of the Rider-Waite tarot deck. And I will show you the original card. So this one was one of the pre-printed ones, and as you can see, I didn't really copy the colours or anything. I wanted to put my own spin on it, and I really like how it's turned out. I used Prismas on it, and you know, other little bits as well. I've found myself with this book so far using quite a lot of Tombow marker as the base and then going over it with pencil, and it works absolutely brilliantly. So if you've got water-based markers, like I say, I'm using Tombow, that's these ones here. It's a really good idea. The paper is smooth. It's the same paper you would find in the Beauty of Horror books. It has a slight tooth to it, and it does obviously take layers, but it's more smooth than toothy. So markers on top, and then pencils to put in your details, your highlights and shading, really works very well in this book. And as you'll see when I turn over, even though I've used quite a lot of marker on the base, there's nothing bleeding through or shadowing. The very slight bits, like you can see here on the Giuliana necklace, that have bled through, probably because I just used way too many layers. But really it takes a lot, so that's good. And then, like I said, on the back you've got the meaning of the Fool and what it means upright and reversed, because when you're doing a tarot reading it might come out like this or it might come out like this, and it does mean different things. So I actually thought initially that it would have been better for them to format this with the card's meaning opposite it, so that you can be doing the card and you can be reading what it means without having to turn the page. However, I've realised they probably did it for a very good reason, which is if you do remove these, so say you wanted to, you could even do a tarot reading with them. Can you imagine cutting them out and having these gigantic cards? But if you wanted to do that, that's how you would do it, because everything fits. All of the text fits to the limits of the edge of the illustration. So you'd cut this out and you would have that meaning on the back. So yeah, I get why they've done it now. Very clever, and it makes sense. So next one I did, obviously, the Magician. And I'm using the exact same pencils for the bottom of the cards. I want to keep that as a running theme all the way through. They look a little bit aged, a little bit dirty. And yeah, again, Tombow marker base and Prismas and whatever else I've got in my pencil case on top. So it could be anything from Artex to Luminance, but mainly Prismas. And then this is the one that I completed just this morning. It's the High Priestess. Oh, I didn't show you the Magician. Hang on a sec. Here he is. So you can see, again, I've not really taken anything from the, apart from, I guess, the skin is very similar, but I've not replicated the colours that are on the original card. I wanted to do my own thing until I got to the High Priestess. And I was looking at this and I thought, let me have a look at the original card just to see how they tackled it. And looking at this card, I just couldn't think of a better colour scheme to do. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love how the skulls sort of gradiate down from the green to the yellow, orangey yellow, and the dress, the gradient on the dress. And I just thought, I want to do this. I'm never going to come up with a better palette than this. So I tried to emulate it as best I possibly could. I mean, the gradients aren't, you know, perfect or anything, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and that is meaning more and more to me as I move on in my colouring journey, that I actually have fun rather than worrying about, you know, if I've done the right colours or if I've made it look as nice as I absolutely possibly can and as smooth as I can. Yeah, so I've done my best to emulate it anyway, and I'm really, really pleased with it. I think this has got to be my favourite. I do love the full one though, because it's quite a basic image. There's not a lot of detail on it, and there's not a lot of different colours. So I feel like it's very limited and very cohesive in that way. But I do love this one, I do. So that is what I've done so far. And I've had this book for 3 days, 4 days, 4 days maximum, I'm sure. And yeah, I've just not been able to put it down. So really, really, really love it. So I'm going to go through all of the images in the book, but I'm not going to stick to each one of them and talk about them, because we will literally be here until the end of next week. There are so many, but you can obviously slow down or pause the video, and you'll have likely seen all of these images before when I did the tarot card review. So everything hand drawn by Alan Robert, just incredible. I've said it so many times before, but his imagination, it's so unique. And obviously the skill of being able to draw what's in your imagination as well. It's just the full package. So some cards are more detailed than others, as you would imagine. And with them being on this very large format, if you were worried about getting the cards themselves because of there not being much room to colour, and maybe having to use very sharp pencils or very, very small spaces, you've not got that problem with this book at all. So you're able to fully dive into the illustration and give it that kind of detail and depth that you might not have been able to do on the cards. So we've come to the end of the major arcana, the trump cards, and now we're on to the minor arcana. And I haven't actually looked this far into the book. I was just like, right, I'm starting it immediately. So I assumed there would be another Juliana for the minor arcana, but there isn't. We've just got some pentacles and swords and all the different things that represent the suits. So that's interesting that we don't have to colour the exact same thing again. It's probably a good thing. And so I say we've got onto the minor arcana. I just love how Alan has weaved in classic horror with the original Rider-Waite tarot depictions. I mean, everyone knows the Ace of Wands if you're a tarot reader or you've had experience tarot cards. The man with the stick looking out, ready to start his voyage and his journey. But look, it's Frankenstein. I just love it. Absolutely love it. And this guy's got a devil's tail and devil horns. Look at this dude dancing. He's having a really good time, isn't he? I feel like he's doing a rain dance. That's why we've got all of the clouds. And I just know that if I start looking at each and every single one of these, we're going to be spending too much time. Because I will start describing every single detail that I see. But what's really great about this is that Alan has... is kept true to the source material whilst putting his own spin on it. So you will notice that there, in original Rider-Waite tarot cards, there are things that are very important on each card, and they help the reader decipher what's going on. And Alan has kept all of that in here. So I'm going to try and find a good one that shows you what I mean. One that I actually know as well, because I'm not, you know, I've not completely memorized all of the tarot cards, but I know that there are certain things, like for example, on this card, on the original Rider-Waite tarot deck, you would see this disembodied hand sort of holding out the cup to this guy, and he's kept that. He's not completely changed, you know, all of the background detail that is very important in tarot. So we've got the bridge, we've got the castle that appears on this card. And let's just keep going till I find another one that I can remember. Oh, this is fantastic, look. I love this one. A little skeleton boy. Reminds me of, well, this actually reminds me more of the character from Trick or Treat, that film. It's fantastic. Queen, King. I actually love the Minor Arcana because there is a lot more that you can interpret instinctually and intuitively. Look at this. It's like the swords are, because I know on this card she's actually holding 2 crossed swords in front of her, but now, very sort of Silent Hill-like, the swords are coming from her arms. Very creepy indeed. I think even if you're not interested in tarot, but you're an Alan Robert fan and a Beauty of Horror fan, you're going to want this because the artwork is incredible despite, or no matter what the theme of it is, the artwork is amazing. And like I say, all of these cards, how many are there altogether? I can't remember, like 58 or something. And to come up with, you know, your own spin on every single one, it's incredible the rate at which he puts this work out, you know, because of the level of quality as well. But I mean, was there ever going to be as good of a mashup as tarot and Beauty of Horror? You know, it's that kind of creepy, sort of unknown vibe, which I really like. We're getting there, guys. King of Swords, and now we're on to the Pentacles. This is fantastic. And the characters that are in here, all very unique as well. This is one that I coloured on the actual cards themselves. You would have seen that. I showed you, didn't I? I actually coloured this one as well. I don't know where the other one is that I coloured. But yeah, just look at the bag over his head and the bloody coveralls. Oh, it's fantastic. I just want to dive into this book and not leave. But I know that I will because I see something else that I want to do and then I've moved on before you know it. But I just love it. Look at this. It's like a police raider in the shape of the Knight of Pentacles. Such a good idea. Ooh, this is good. Look at this dude. He's in an electric chair. Ah, so we've come to the end of the book, but we do have some bonus illustrations. Now, can I find them? Probably not. But I do have originals of these bonus cards, which were given... Ah, here they are. These were given to Kickstarter supporters, of which I was one. I can only find one card. Here it is. I know they're in here somewhere, but I've got too much crap in my drawer. Yeah, these were given to Kickstarter supporters, the crowdfunding that produced the tarot cards, and they are Cthulhu inspired, so Lovecraft. And here you will see we've got the world as Cthulhu. We've got the sun, which you can see from the card, and you can see the difference in size and how much easier it will be to blend and shade on these larger images. We've got the star, the moon, the main man himself, and there we are. So there is a little bit in the back of the book about how to do some tarot spreads, past, present, future, and the Celtic cross. And yeah, just great to have that little bit of info in the back if you are brand new to tarot. And then Guliana's doing a bit of a plug there for all of her other products. So really hope you've enjoyed looking at this one because I've loved showing it to you, and I can't wait to dive in and do some more of these images. Like I say, I feel like I want to do every single one in the book. Probably won't happen, but we will see. Anyway, I'm going to leave links in the description so that you can get yourself a copy. I would certainly recommend it if you are a Beauty of Horror fan. And yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.